All right, guys, I'm back. So I'm kind of just gonna vent on this one because I'm a little bit confused right now and a little bit lost. And I know I'm like a couple weeks shy of the 3 month post exosomes day, I guess. And I think I had mentioned in my last update that my doctor was like, we're going to check in 3 months, even though she had originally said we were going to check in 2 months after. So 3 months would technically be May 1st or something like that. But I've been having some kind of I'm trying to make a decision, or I'm trying to figure something out as far as my IVIG, because I get the weird feeling, and I always ignore my gut. For whatever reason, I just always ignore my gut. I actually did a video on that, on my own self-doubt. And I think that really interferes a lot with me just being able to make a decision, because I always tell myself, no, you're not feeling what you're actually feeling. Like, it's in your imagination. It's not real. But if you guys go back to my other updates, my other exosomes updates or my check-ins, when I first started, I think a couple of weeks out from the exosomes, I restarted my IVIG, and I started at a higher dose. So I usually take 5 grams of IVIG, of sub-Q IG. I do it subcutaneously. I do 5 grams once a week. And when I went back on it, I had to stop for the exosome treatment. When I went back on it, I had a bunch of bottles because I never told the pharmacy to stop sending me them because they don't know that I did exosomes. So they kept sending me. And so I had, I was backed up, because I had to stop 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after. So it was like 5 weeks. So I had like 5 bottles, and they were still, shipments were still ongoing. So I was like, I asked the doctor, I did ask her if I could double up on the dose, instead of doing 5, do 10. That way I could go through the bottles faster. And she said, yeah. I clearly remember her saying, yeah, but I was kind of like, was she really listening to me? Or did she because she seemed like she was kind of stressed out over the whole exosomes treatment. And so, I kind of felt like she just wasn't listening to me. Like, I kind of got that vibe that she just was not listening. So, but whatever. I was like, she said it was okay, so I did it. And then I reported to you guys, I did a video where I said that I was having headaches and neck pain, and that after a couple of weeks, I connected it to the dosage of the IVIG, because I was doing 10 instead of 5. So I went back to 5, and the head and the neck pain seemed to improve. But then that's when my rib cage started to sort of tighten up. And it's been tight ever since. Like, it tightened up and just has stayed kind of tight. It's been varying degrees of tight. And there has been, still rib cage activity and stuff like that. But in the last couple of weeks, even though the pain right now wasn't as bad as the pain was 2 weeks ago, because I was having really bad tightness and just that, this horrible kind of nerve tearing pain. And that seemed to get better. And then every week, or there was a day where I would feel like, okay, we're making I would suddenly start feeling a lot of activity in the muscles and in the rib cage. I'm getting winded, if you guys can't tell, because the muscles are so tight in the rib cage area that it I have a hard time kind of breathing, and so I kind of lose my breath a little bit. But I would have days where I was like, okay, we're finally turning a corner, and then a few hours later or 24 hours later, it was back at square one, and it's the muscles would kind of just cramp up again. It was weird, and I was just like, why is this happening? Why, I finally get my hopes up, everything, I'm starting to feel better, and then it's so weird how it would go from one extreme to the other. Well, I'm not saying that I felt like I was better, like my muscle stiffness had completely gone away. I just started feeling activity and feeling loosening and just a lot of activity. And then suddenly it was like, no, it was very, very strange. So in the last couple of weeks, I started to pay attention to how my week was going, because that's what happened in the beginning, where I started noticing that by Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday, my head and my neck pain would feel better. And that's how I figured out that it was the IVIG. And that's why I went back down to 5 grams, and I noticed that my head and my neck improved, but the rib cage did not. And in the last few weeks, I've been doing 7.5 grams because they sent me these little bottles of IVIG. So I've been adding one of those little bottles onto my 5 grams. So I was like, there might be something to that. And I remember last weekend, I think a week ago, feeling again a lot of rib cage activity. And I think I had 24 hours where there was just a lot going on. And then suddenly on Monday afternoon, it stopped. And I started thinking about that, and I was like, well, from Sunday to Monday afternoon, I did my infusion Sunday night. So the thing is that I'm having a more difficult time establishing whether that I'm really making a connection with this situation, because with the head and the neck pain, it was pretty, it was very pronounced, I think. And so there was kind of like an immediate difference. And I could feel that difference as the week went on. And then as I hit Sunday, which is my infusion day, I was like, oh, my head kind of feels better. Like it didn't feel 100% better, but the head pain or the neck pain felt more manageable. It felt like it had gone down. And so I was like, okay, it has to be the IVIG. And it's technically not the IVIG. I think it's some kind of interaction between the exosomes and the IVIG. There's something going on. So this is the tough part, though. Like, the hard part is making the decision on stopping or reducing my dosage, because I still have, I think, 5 milligrams or 5 grams, 5 grams extra of IVIG. So I have one extra bottle. And I've already been contacted by the infusion pharmacy for my next shipment, which it would not come in next week. It would come in next week, not this week, but the week after. So I'm just kind of going crazy, because it's like, I had called my doctor, and I think I mentioned this in my last check-in. I had called her at the 2-month mark, and she was like, no, we're following up at the 3-month mark. So I was like, okay, so we're just going to wait 3 months. And the week that I had called her, I was in quite a bit of pain. And fortunately, some of that pain improved the week after. So I was like, okay, maybe I can hold on until the 3-month mark. And then I'm just noticing this, like I said, this weird up and down. And I'm not sure if I'm connecting it properly. But the only way that I would find out is by stopping the IVIG. Now, another issue to add more to my plate. And so for those of you that don't know what IVIG is, it's a medication that is used for people with immune deficiencies. So people that get sick a lot and have a difficult time fighting off, even just like common flus and colds and stuff like that. They get really, really sick and sometimes need to be hospitalized with common viruses and things like that. So they need this medication in order to sort of boost their immune system to fight off those things. It's also used for autoimmune illnesses. So it's an immune modulator. So if your immune system is kind of attacking you, it kind of modulates it. So if your immune system is like this, it brings it kind of back to neutral. So it doesn't suppress your immune function. It just kind of like brings it to a place where it's like functioning better. But as you know, we're like at the tail end of a pandemic. There is an expected increase in cases in the next couple of weeks. And my family is throwing this huge party for my dad for his retirement in a week from today. So today is Easter Sunday. I'm here by myself. Today is Easter Sunday. And so a week from today, we're going to have a house full of people, unmasked. I'm sure nobody's going to be wearing a mask. I'm going to have to wear an N95. I'm probably just going to stay in my room. Like, I'm just not in the mood. That's a whole other vlog situation. And on top of that, I'm having some PMS, which can also contribute to, I think, a little bit of flaring with my symptoms. So that might be why this week I have felt my muscles just lock up. I had been feeling still some activity up until this week. This week, it just seems like the muscles have locked up and they're just like, we're not going to cooperate this week. We're just locking up. And I feel it particularly on the right-hand side. They just have locked into place. And so it's a very unsettling feeling. But again, today is Sunday, and I want to say that I feel a little bit better. Granted, PMS is going to make me feel worse. So it's almost like now I have these two things where it's like, do I actually feel a little bit better, or is my PMS contributing to possibly some of this issue? So I kind of figured out a plan of action when it comes to the pharmacy and when it comes to my doctor. Even though they told me to wait until May to do my blood work, I'm going to do my blood work this week and then just tell them, look, I need to talk to her, as soon as May starts, as soon as she gets the blood work, and and I need to talk to her because I think there's some other issue going on. And as far as the infusion company, I think I'm going to just tell them, look, I have 15 grams in the fridge. Let's push it. Let's push the shipment to the first week of May. And I will update you guys on whatever my doctor tells me because I need to talk to a doctor. And again, the difficult part here is that I'm juggling multiple doctors. The prescribing doctor is not the doctor that did the exosomes. So she doesn't know that I did exosomes. Nobody knows that I did exosomes except my immunologist. So, and also to my immunologist, IVIG is sort of typically used by immunologists. It's not something that is used by other doctors, but it is used in neurology for autoimmune illnesses. So they have a different knowledge pertaining to that drug because they use it for other types of conditions. It's used for neuropathy. It's used for stiff person syndrome. I think sometimes in some cases of multiple sclerosis. It may be used also in some cases of lupus, but it's typically used for immune deficiencies. So stopping it, there's a couple things that could happen. I could feel worse because the IVIG was before the exosomes, it was helping with the muscle stiffness, not a huge amount, but it did help enough. And it also helps to combat viruses and infections that you have in your body. So if I were to get anything over the next week or at the party next week, I may just have to do a round of the IVIG. And again, if it's making me feel worse, which I have not yet established, if it is making me feel worse, what is the mechanism behind that? Why is it causing my symptoms to get worse? And is taking it just going to make things worse? So it's like I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. I need to talk to a doctor. They were just like, wait until May. And I was just like, I can't wait till May because I don't want the pharmacy sending me another shipment of 4 bottles while I have 3 sitting in the fridge. And while I might actually have to stop. And like I said, today is kind of a mixed day. I do have the stiffness. I feel like some of the pain is better. I have been feeling a little bit of nerve pain, kind of like this little kind of like burning or prickling, tingling kind of sensation in my rib cage. I was feeling it a little bit yesterday, and today I just came back from a drive because I needed to like get out of the house and go for a drive and kind of clear my head. And I was feeling that, like a little bit of the prickliness, which means that there's some kind of neurological activity. There's something happening with the nerves. And so, when I see those or when I feel those things, and again, it's Sunday, at this point, the IVIG is pretty low in my system. It is built up in my system over time. So even though I might feel a difference today, or I can't really tell, if I stop it completely, the more time goes on, the more I'll be able to tell what it's doing or what it isn't doing. But I have to stop it. I have to stop it, and I have to like wait. And again, like I said, we're gonna have a full house a week from today. I don't get to see my doctor until May. I'm gonna do blood work, I think, this Wednesday. I just decided, I was like, I'm gonna do the blood work, even though they told me to wait until May. I'm gonna do it this Wednesday. I'm curious to see if the blood work will show anything, given the fact that I feel miserable, and I'm wondering if the blood work will pick up on that. So it's been sort of an up and down type of situation, and I'm kind of like, right now, the only decision, like I have my other plan established, but the decision I'm trying to make right now is whether I'm going to do an infusion tonight, Sunday night, or whether to wait until Monday, tomorrow night. Because next weekend, even if I do decide to do an infusion next weekend, I wouldn't be able to do it until Monday, or I would have to do it like Saturday or Monday, because of that party on Sunday. So right now, because of all the stuff I was feeling during my drive, and just kind of how I'm feeling generally right now, like this morning I woke up and I was kind of groggy. I've had a little bit of nausea this week too, like this very weird, it doesn't feel like something's wrong with my stomach. I just feel sick, kind of. And I had a couple episodes of that this week, which could be hormonal. But then today I've been hungry. Like I had to sit down and have some chips before making this video, because I just felt like hungry. I was like, I need to eat something, because, I'm just hungry, which is strange because this week I have been feeling so gross. But again, that could be a PMS thing. It could be that I'm just not eating enough, but I'm sort of like leaning towards just stop the IVIG. It could result in a more difficult menstrual cycle this time around, because I know that the IVIG has helped me in the past with menstrual cramps. But at the same time, it's like, if it is contributing to the ribcage tightness, if it is exacerbating my symptoms, then it might be worth it to just stop for a week and then pick it up again. I could do it again on Friday. I could do it again on Saturday. It doesn't really matter if I'm really feeling that bad. But like I said, it's really, it's hard, because I'm, I guess the other tough part is that I'm not feeling better. I have some of the symptoms that I had after the exosomes, like the fogginess and kind of feeling tired, all the time. That seems to have lifted. So those weird symptoms seem to have gone away. The head and the neck pain, once I went back down to 5 grams of IVIG, it seemed to get better. But my neurological symptoms are worse. Specifically, the ribcage symptoms, those have been relentless. My pelvic floor has been on and off. My head, and the light sensitivity, I think, has also been kind of on and off. I feel like there's still some kind of activity there. Like, I've still been feeling things in my head and my pelvic floor. The rib cage is the one that is just relentless, and it just won't stop. But it's also the largest affected area. I imagine there are a lot of nerves in that area that are very, very affected. So I've been feeling really hopeless and thinking, maybe I'm just getting worse. Maybe this was a mistake and I just got worse. And, and there's really, I'm trying to rationalize it by blaming it on something else, but I may have just gotten worse. And there have been some people in the Exosomes Facebook group that have told me that, they said it is possible. It does happen, not just with stem cells, but with exosomes as well, which I didn't know previous. I knew that stem cells can cause like a mast cell type of reaction. It can make, your condition worse if you have Lyme disease or that kind of thing. Exosomes, I was told, because they're not a cell, you can't react to it. I figured worst case scenario, they just won't do anything at all. Like, they won't help me, but they won't hurt me. And now I'm kind of sitting here, after people are telling me like, you should have done ozone therapy before, you should have done this other thing, you should have done that other thing, you have to prep your body. And I'm just like, well, I really couldn't, and I've done everything I could do. But I'm kind of wondering, like, am I going to be stuck like this? Like, I don't think it's going to last forever, because it was a bit worse, a couple weeks ago, and some of that pain has subsided. The stiffness is still there. It's still worse than it was prior to the exosomes, but some of that nervy pain seems to have gone or changed a bit. So, and I also think to myself, my digestive symptoms they feel like untouched, completely untouched. So that's the part that I'm kind of like, it makes no sense why it would just hit me in one area and then leave everything else alone. And then, like, the last thing I did, I started Googling again, exosomes and how long does it take for them to work and blah, blah, blah. And so that's the other thing, is that there's no projected time frame. And I came upon another doctor. She's a pretty prominent Lyme literate physician, because I know I've heard her name before, and I saw her website. And she also uses exosomes in her practice. And she says between 4 to 6 months is when you start noticing any improvements. And I've heard 3 to 4 months. I've heard, 2 months, 8 weeks, 7 to 8 weeks. And I've seen as long as 9 to 12 months. So it's almost like I start losing hope, and I tell myself, you're almost at 3 months. You're still not doing well. And I'm trying to figure out why. And then you go back and, there's another doctor that's like, it can be between 4 and 6 months. And this 3-month check-in with my doctor is just a check-in. She never said you'll be feeling better in 3. She actually never told me when I would be feeling better. And I think part of the reason is because there really is you can't project like you'll be feeling better at such and such time. The only thing I know is that I don't feel any improvement as of almost 3 months. So that's what I have for you guys. I had to get it out. I had to vent. I know this video or this vlog has gone on really long, and my phone will stop recording if I don't stop recording right now. So, yeah, I'm lost. So hopefully I'll figure it out, whether I'll do an infusion today or tomorrow, or just stop completely. But I need to get in to see that doctor. Like, I absolutely have to get in to see her, because, a lot of times I think we have to rely on our own instincts and sort of tell ourselves, what is your body feeling like right now? Or sometimes just take a chance. I mean, it's not going to kill me to stop my IVIG for a week. It might be a risk. It might be risky, but, I might need to do that in order to figure out whether it is contributing to pain or worsening my symptoms, or it's blocking the exosomes from working. Because there must have been a reason why I had to stop the IVIG 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after. And I keep thinking about that. It's like, if I had to stop it, for that time frame, there has to be a reason why. And there has to be something, some kind of contraindication between the two. So I gotta go eat. Thank you guys for stopping by. This is going to be kind of a sloppy video. I'm going to upload it. And I should be back to do a 3-month update soon.